I got this mysterious box in the mail today. Let's see what's inside it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I got this box in the mail. It is from H&H Color Lab, which was one of the sponsors of the Creator Series, which is currently getting ready for episode 3 this coming Monday as of the airing of this episode. But I did not order whatever's in this box. This is not a client image. I don't know what it is. Could be my prize that I got for winning episode 2. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched that yet. I don't know. So let's see what's inside. Whatever it is, it's fragile. All right, so here it is out of the box. Still in the styrofoam. It said contestant episode 2 winner on the top, so oh wow. This is my winning image. That is my winning image from episode 2 of the Creator Series. I am assuming this is the image that was hanging on the H&H Wall of Fame that was behind the judges during all the episodes. Episode 2 is aired, so they could, I guess they could send this to me now. It's really amazing. The judges, did their deliberation. They deliberation. Wow, that's hard to say. And sent the image off to H&H, which is located in Kansas City where the show was filmed. And the fact that they had it printed and hanging very quickly back where we were filming is amazing. But looking at this image, just kind of going back to the episode and just all the kind words from everyone who's reached out to me since the episode has aired on winning, and just how much they love the image, and watching the episode with friends and family and clients here in our studio, and getting to see their reactions to the image and listening to the judges, their deliberation and their discussions with each other, and just how much they loved my image. Not just the image, but how much the judges instantly saw my vision of what I was trying to create, and word for word said what I had told Sal while we were shooting, everything that I wanted, this vision of this girl that is dreaming of being a dancer, and that vision of being a dancer in her head. That's what I wanted to use the double exposure for. I think it came out well, and I think Taylor made a comment about me not editing the wrinkles in her chest, and I think some on her face, that could have been smoothed out. And I get that because Taylor is a beauty photographer, but for someone who does portraiture and tells the story, I think some of that can add to the story itself. Maybe she used to be a dancer. Maybe she's remembering being a dancer. Maybe she always wanted to be a dancer, but she couldn't for some reason, and now she's too old to go back and be a dancer. She's not in her teens anymore and can go back and do all the dancer training that she needed to do. So it could easily add to that story. So I'm not arguing with you, Taylor. I appreciate the comments, and to be frank, I ran out of time. I didn't have time to edit all the skin and go through that, and I thought it didn't take away from the image, so I left it in and turned in the image that way. But if you watched episode 2, you know that I mentioned having multiple concepts in my head. This was one of them. This was, I thought, the safer option as far as being able to accomplish it in 10 minutes of time. My other image that I had in my head, because she had the blue dress on, and I knew on the table there was a bouquet of blue flowers that I think some of the other contestants actually used in their double exposures. But I also thought about having her as a dancer, and it's an image I've seen other photographers create before, so it's not something that I'm created off the top of my head. I've seen other photographers do it where they have a dancer dancing. The first exposure is the top half of the dancer, and then you flip the bouquet over and the blooms of that flower bouquet become her dress. So that was the other image that I had in my head. that I thought was a little more ambitious. And I thought if I couldn't get it right in camera, I wasn't going to be able to save it out of camera in post in the 30 minutes that we have. So I thought this was going to be a safer image, because the first image of her silhouette was very simple. It was just her in front of that the 3x4 softbox. So I knew I could nail that first image. It was really just getting that second image right in the frame that I wanted it to be in, inside of that silhouette. So that's why I went with that image, and I think it came out well. I was very nervous in deliberation. Once deliberation happens, we turn on all our images. All the contestants, we kind of leave our image up on our laptop, and then we kind of walk around and look at each other's image, because we enjoy punishment and wanted to torture ourselves even more while the judges were talking, as we're looking around thinking who we think is going to win. And I was really worried that my image was too simple, because so much of the image was empty space and things like that. But I think the story came through, and I think I agreed with the judges' comments about they loved mine so much because the double exposure. I wasn't just taking a double exposure because the challenge was double exposure. I actually used the double exposure to tell the story, which I think as photographers is something that we have to do. Don't just do off-camera flash because you think off-camera flash looks cool. That light has to make sense. Don't do crazy wardrobe because you want to do crazy wardrobe. So many people got into parachute dresses for a long time, for instance, especially in the senior photography world, and they never made, a lot of them never made sense. It was just, it's a girl in a parachute dress because parachute dresses are trendy. So I think every time you're creating an image as a photographer, be intentional about what you're doing. If you're using natural light, be intentional about your natural light. If you are using soft light or hard light or split light, why? What's the intention behind that? What's the story you're trying to use that shadow, use that light, use that wardrobe, use that jewelry, the accessories, the props that you're using? Why? When I was in college, I had a professor who was a very strict professor, and she used to be a photographer for National Geographic. And there was a student in our class, a very young student. I was post-Navy, so I was like 24, 25 even. And there was a just fresh 18-year-old out of high school kid who loved shooting portraits, like leaning against a tree. And she would just ream him, like, why are they leaning against a tree? What's the story of this tree? Why tree? And then at some point she like forbid him from ever having a portrait of a person leaning against a tree, whether that's the branch, whether that's leaning back against the trunk. She forbid him from having trees in his images for the rest of the semester. So now I still have like PTSD about like being in a park, and mom of a senior is like, hey, what about this tree over here? And I'm like, no trees, no trees in my images. So yeah, just be intentional about what you're doing. And it has to have a reason to be in the photo, or else why is it there? We have the ability, the thing I love about photography is we have the ability to accept things into our photos and crop things out of our photos. And that photo is that person's world, whether that's a senior, whether that's a wedding client that you're photographing their wedding. That is their whole day. That is their whole world for that day, is that wedding. And you are either accepting things into your images or you're cropping things out of images. If something's happening off camera that you don't want your wedding client to remember, then you get to crop it out of the photo and it gets to no longer exist. So think about that the next time you're shooting. That's my TED Talk for today. But thank you so much, H&H, Mary, who was on set most of the show, and everyone else at H&H. Such a fantastic print lab company. If you're not using H&H to print your photos, please look into them. They have so many amazing new cutting edge products that you can't get from a lot of other places, that your clients aren't going to be able to get from Shutterfly or wherever else your clients go to print photos. These are products that they have to come to you to get, and you have to go to H&H to get. So please, please, please look into them. This is not a sponsored ad. I am not sponsored by H&H at all. But I do use them as my print lab. I love them. They did sponsor the show, so thank you so much for sponsoring the show, and thank you for this lovely gift. I will hang it with absolute pride in my studio for everyone to see. So thank you again, and keep watching. Creator Series episode 3 is coming out soon. There's only, let's see, there's 5 episodes left. So who's gonna win? Is it gonna be me? Is it gonna be Laura? Is it gonna be Andre? Is it going to be, I'm trying to think of who's left in the series, that this time it's going to be Tabitha. It's really anyone's game. So please keep watching. Thank you for watching this video, and see you around. I am really trying to figure out where I'm going to hang this. I wish I had a studio that had like super, super tall walls so that I could just hang photos all over the place. I'm trying to find a place to hang this. I think what I'm gonna do, right over here above my camera collection where I shoot a lot of my videos, I think that's where I'm gonna put it. So maybe on the next video you'll see it hanging.